Welcome! This is the Thrift Store Rundown, bringing Hollywood home on a budget. Some folks will actually tell you that it can be a load of crap to come home after a long 8-hour day of crunching those quarterly reports to a house that smells insanely delicious with dinner already prepared. Well, I'm here to tell you that depending on what type of crock pot you own, if you have one, and what type of crock pot meals you look up on the internet, or in this case, a cookbook, that it's not a load of crock, and it can be done. However, in this case, it might come with some reservations. And I'm not talking about the ones that you would book in a restaurant if suddenly it all goes wrong. Nevertheless, I bring you Crockpot's Dump Meals. More than 100 delicious recipes containing 5 ingredients or less that you just dump and slow cook. It's written by Cathy Mitchell. Yes, folks, this Cathy Mitchell, infamous innovator extraordinaire, and #1 best-selling author of Dump Cakes. You'd be surprised as to how often Dump Cakes actually shows up at your thrift store. Which, by the way, is the venue where I picked this up from. For 25% off the price of $2.69, it is a Telebrands Press publication. And now we'll toss it over to Cathy to explain more about this book and to highlight some of the recipes that you can find in here. And by the way, all the recipes in the following video demonstration can be found in the first food chapter, Cathy's Favorites. But more about that later. Cathy.
Succulent baby back ribs, juicy roasted chicken, tender pot roast. These can take hours to prepare, but what if they only took 5 minutes? Well, making dinner just got easier with my new cookbook, Crockpot Slow Cooker Dump Meals. Delicious recipes prepared in minutes with 5 ingredients or less. Watch how easy. Start with rice and dump on a can of soup. Layer on some pork chops and cover with onion soup mix. Then let the slow cooker do its magic. After work, you'll have tender smothered pork chops the whole family will love. Or sprinkle boneless chicken breast with a pack of ranch. Then dump in stuffing mix and some frozen veggies. And finish with chicken broth. Just 5 ingredients for this ranch chicken and stuffing. Yum! Or look here. Pulled pork sandwich is a slow cooker favorite. Just dump root beer on a pork roast with barbecue sauce. Then slow cook. Wow, best barbecue ever. Want another soda secret? A can of ginger ale perfectly flavors this teriyaki chicken. Plus, cook the rice in a separate bowl right in the slow cooker. How about a workday shortcut? Slow cook the juiciest meatloaf with baked potatoes and never worry about burning. You'll come home to a hearty, delicious meal. Or look here, fast and fun recipes, like this cheesy dump dish pizza. Or this, start with tortilla shells, then dump on meat, beans, and cheese for this family-sized tortilla bowl. Don't let your busy schedule get in the way of a delicious dinner.
Now just dump and go with Crockpot Slow Cooker Dump Meals.
Let's get underway. And by the way, we can't locate a retail price for this cookbook. Cathy's Favorites, which begins on page 8, encompasses, in essence, a little bit of everything here in the following chapters afterward. Soup, stews, and chilies, chicken favorites, bountiful beef, pleasing pork, spectacular sides, sweet treats, and an alphabetical recipe index on page 140. All of this comes after Slow Cooking Hits and Tips on page 4, a 4-page guide to getting acquainted with your crock pot or any other slow cooker that you might own. Preferably for this cookbook, you'll want to own the original, the Sunbeam Crockpot. By the way, I don't know if Sunbeam products, makers of the original Crockpot, endorse this cookbook in any way, or any one of Cathy's recipes in here. They don't specify in the opening. But oh well, that's none of my concern. My concern is helping you get delicious dinners, lunches, on the table, whatever, in a matter of hours. Preferably if you have something else to do that takes a few hours. So, we begin with tender pot roast, tomato sauce with meatballs and sausage, root beer barbecued pulled pork, best barbecue ribs, a cinnamon roll topped mixed berry cobbler, chicken soft tacos, smothered pork chops and rice, ginger teriyaki chicken, a family tortilla bowl, a cheesy dump pizza, ranch chicken and stuffing, a cherry delight, a 1-pot meatloaf dinner, triple chocolate brownies, and a juicy roasted chicken. I mean, if you have a long day at work, you just want to set it and forget it, to paraphrase another infomercial, and this should provide a good foundation for you to do so. However, we all know there's a certain stigma associated with dump dinners, dump meals of any kind. It goes a little something like this, to make it a little more COPPA friendly for YouTube. You dump out of it what you dump into it.
I banned your fucking toilet!
So, I think Cathy made the right call not to include any nutritional facts for any of the recipes in here. Also, I've done a handful of slow cooker related cookbooks, 3 of them to be specific, and to be even more specific, all of them coming from America's Test Kitchen, the entire Slow Cooker Revolution series of books. I'll link them all in the description below if you want to check that out, as well as my first Cathy Mitchell cookbook review. So, I'm not venturing into uncharted territory reviewing another slow cooker cookbook. However, I like to say that ATK's mastered the art of slow cooking with a little more finesse than Cathy does. But that said, this cookbook, just like Cathy and her previous offerings, does have its fair share of fans. Myself included. And I don't even own a crock pot. I just read these for recreational purposes. I might buy a crock pot someday. And to be fair, thrift stores do actually sell used crock pots. Find what brand works for you at retail, or take a chance and shop secondhand. You make the call. Toss 5 ingredients or less, which isn't always accurate, into your crock pot slow cooker and have dinner ready in no time. Friends and family will enjoy hearty main dishes, simmering soups and chilies, delicious desserts, and more. Just chop, dump, and slow cook your way to delicious dishes. That's not a fairly lofty proposition. It can be done, but of course, Cathy Mitchell does have her detractors. I'm not one of them. I thoroughly enjoyed watching her infomercials when I was a kid on TV, and I still do, on YouTube. So, hopefully this book will have a fan in you. But, for all those detractors, I really couldn't live with myself if I gave Cathy Mitchell anything less or higher than 4 claps, which I think suits this just fine. And that's that! Crockpot's Dump Meals with Cathy Mitchell's recipes. I'd say this book is a go if you find yourself down in the dumps on a not-so-sunny day. Just make sure that, with the Dump Meal Sigma, the bathroom isn't that occupied.
Stop it!
Thanks for watching TSR. Now, to see another awesome review like this one, click here. If you want to become a Hollywood bargain hunter, click here to subscribe. And I'll catch you on the thrift side.